Welcome back, Gadgeteers. Today we're going to have a discussion and look at Rhythmbox Music Player. Now, the Rhythmbox Music Player in Linux is usually the default if you have the Gnome desktop environment, but that doesn't mean for all distros. It's possible that you could have a different distro that uses Amarok or some other music player as the default, and that's the same if you have an exclusive desktop environment or it's the first desktop environment you install. So Fedora uses Gnome as its default desktop environment and Rhythmbox as its default player. Now, I am not using Gnome desktop environment. I'm using KDE. So it's a little bit different, but Gnome is still the default player. Now, it's the one I've used most, and I've come to like it, even though it does have some shortcomings. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right now, it's busy importing my music collection, and you can see that there's a total number of objects in my music folder of 178,197 tracks. Yes, I offer backup services for other people's music collections in the event they have a crash on their computer and they lose that music. I have an off-site collection where they can get their music back. So I basically take their collection and save it just in case. Once this import gets done, we're going to start looking at Rhythmbox and we'll talk about everything. Well, Gadgeteers, it looks like trying to record with OBS and load my music and do stuff on the internet, downloading files, etc., caused my computer to crash. So I definitely had a kernel crash, and all that music loading that I did was for naught. So if it doesn't finish, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to shut my computer all the way down and pull the power plug and then bring it back up and let it do nothing but search for music in my music folder. What a bummer. Well, I don't know if you can see this. Let me see if I can make it larger. Okay, so I've got 853 megabytes of updates, including a new kernel, which may be more stable than the 100 kernel. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes and get these updates installed. Hopefully I don't crash again. I haven't done that hard reset yet, and I'm still loading updates. But what I want to do is go ahead and do a test import. Oh, let's see here. Mount 4 terabyte music. Classical Yo-Yo Ma. We're going to load it and then so we're going to import these tracks. Oh, of course I have to click import. Naturally. Honestly, what I'm hoping is that Rhythmbox is smart enough to know once a track's already there and not duplicate it, but I believe from history that it's not quite that smart. How we doing on updates? Okay, everything done. We'll reboot momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and close this once again and reopen Rhythmbox. Okay, now we have them. There are 18 tracks. So let's try that again. Import. You know, basically what I'm trying to find out is if I do a big import and I have a crash again, will I be able to successfully load my music again, but only load those files that haven't been loaded. Mount 4 terabyte music, classical Yo-Yo Ma. Open. So it seems to be intelligent enough to know that those tracks are already imported. Now what if I do other again, change to the next folder and do open? Yes, okay. So it's showing them as being imported. So I think the big problem here is the database isn't updated until everything's imported. So basically, you know, if I import these 4 tracks, they're going to show up there and everything's going to work. But if I try to import a huge group of music, which that's what I usually do because I don't want to sit here and babysit it. I just want it to do it and be done. Now here's an interesting thought. So I just imported 17, 16, 5, and 4. Now I restarted the first time. So remember that track number? I restarted Rhythmbox. So let's do something a little different. Let's pretend we have a crash. So we're gonna bring up by name Rhythmbox. Let's kill it. We're gonna send it the kill signal. We're gonna restart it and see if it takes a reset to get Rhythmbox to resave its database. So it looks like it has to be shut down and brought back up. So let's go back to the original folder we imported. Whoops. And there are 14 files. 14 files. So Rhythmbox has to be closed and reopened in order for it to save its database. So if anything goes wrong on your import, it's toast. The database that it's building is toast. So it has to complete and be shut down. So I might do this in bits and pieces, but you know, I mean, that's going to take a long time, but hey, that's how it is. So basically I got all these folders here. I could just do a couple at a time and then shut it down and bring it back up because I don't want to lose all that work that it does. Okay, well, something else I want to try here. I'm just going to grab the classical folder, see if I can stop it, see if I can drop and drag it. Looks like I can. Adding tracks to the library. 1.3 gigabytes. Shouldn't take all that long. Now, some of these folders are massive. So I'm really not sure how long it'll take to do some of these other folders, but I can at least go through these ones and add them a couple at a time and then restart Rhythmbox. Now, a lot of you say, well, why don't you just use a music service? I could, but I hate paying for something monthly. You know, I put music on my phone. I've got an MP3 player that I use, and I'm really quite satisfied with that. And if I want new music, you know, I buy it, download it, and put it in my collection here. All right, well, if you haven't already beat me to it, the database is saved in /home, your username /.local, which is a hidden directory, /share, and the folder is /rhythmbox, and the files that you're looking for are these 3. So this one I haven't done much with. You can make your own playlist, which is really cool. I like that. And you can, if you hear a track playing that you really like, you can add it to the playlist. So that's a feature I like. But the actual database is right here. And I'm thinking as soon as it gets done writing these files, looks like it is done. So let's go ahead and close it. So right now, 520, 216. I'm going to go ahead and close Rhythmbox. We're going to do another directory listing. And yes, it has increased in size. Good to know, bad to know at the same time. Alright, so things seem to be working pretty good, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But before I do, I want to show you some of the cool features of Rhythmbox and how it's doing. Like we talked about before, if you need to know the location of your database, it is in /home, your user's name.local, share Rhythmbox, and the name of the database is rhythmdb.xml. So let's do a test of what happens if you delete music from your actual folder or directory as opposed to deleting the music inside Rhythmbox. So we're going to go ahead and close down Rhythmbox, and I'm going to grab the bluegrass folder here and I'm going to move it to a different location. I'm going to say move here, and there it is, and it no longer exists in the music directory. So let's go ahead and launch Rhythmbox again. Now this database file is pretty big, so it does take quite a few seconds to load the database, but check it out. Over here in missing files, classic bluegrass. So it knows they're missing. What could I do? I could remove. There's some properties. What would happen though in music? Let's do a search in the title for Earl Taylor. We're going to search titles and we'll put in, okay, we'll do a search for Earl Taylor. Go get him, Earl. This is good because it looks like it does not list the music once the track has gone to missing, which is really nice. I don't recall that being a feature before. Some of you may be able to correct me on that. Let me know. All right, let's close it down, and we're going to put that bluegrass directory back. And we're going to relaunch Rhythmbox. Wait a minute for the database to load. Notice it still says missing files. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Okay, there we go. Music was loaded. Missing files disappears. Let's do another search for Earl Taylor. And there he is. Very nice. Much better than it used to be. Now, another cool thing, I have here plugged in my USB player, and I was thinking to myself, you know, I don't want to have to like look at a file and then have to go locate that file somewhere. It seems really complicated and kind of a pain in the butt. So how would I do that? And I thought, well, I do have the location here, but that still isn't nice. Now I know that I've been able to take files and drag them into Rhythmbox, and it immediately starts importing them into its database. So what would happen if I went the other way? So I dragged a track, and this right here, by the way, this window right here is my MP3 player. It's a inexpensive 16 gigabyte MP3 player that I got. Chinese. It actually works really well. It's very heavy. It's got a nice battery in it. I'll put up some pics so you can get a look at it. So I just do copy here, and my music is there. It's all done. And all I have to do, of course, is disconnect my music player when I'm all done. And just like that. And you can see I've got tons of room left on it. 12.7 gigabytes free still. Alright, let's talk about a few more features before we go, and a few problems that I'm having with Rhythmbox. So first thing, I do like the primary window here. We have artist, album, and of course track titles. You can do a search. So do a search for a particular musician. Of course, it isn't always necessarily accurate. Notice that by default we're searching all fields, so it just looked for the word rush, and don't rush me here, Juliana Hatfield, stuff like that will come up, but for the most part it does work. Let's change that to artists. Okay, much better. However, there's a good chance you're going to miss some stuff because if you don't have the MP3 tag set up for your music, you may not see some of the music that you're searching for. But anyway, a fairly nice feature, so I like that. Okay, the next thing I wanted to show you was in preferences, you can go ahead and change what the visible columns are. You can also change the browser view. So If you don't like artists and albums, you can do genres and artists. Genres, artists, and albums, whichever. I prefer artists and albums, but one thing I have done here is made some changes. I actually added location, which you can see right here, but I'm realizing I don't really need that, so I'm going to turn that off. And one thing I do want is rating, so I'm going to turn that on and then close, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's go back and do that. Search artists, and we're going to put in Rush once again. No, I don't like prog rock. I don't know why you're thinking that. It's just, you're silly. Okay. Vapor Trails. Anybody heard Vapor Trails album? It's really good. Okay. Earthshine. Probably my favorite song. So I'm going to rate this baby 5 stars because it's that good. Now we can go to my top rated and it'll do a search and you can see the songs that I really like and the rating, and if I want to I could play this as a list, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's go back to music. The other thing I'm disappointed with is Last.fm and Libri.fm don't seem to be working. So if I go to, I've already created some stations. Zero Project is one of the artists on Libre.fm. I get error tuning station 3 invalid method. No method with that name in this package. And I've tried to find a way around it, but I have not been able to. I've done quite a bit of research on the official Rhythmbox site, non-official sites, searching for this particular error, nothing came up. If you know anything about it and an easy fix, because according to the official site, Rhythmbox, or excuse me, Libri.fm is fully supported in Rhythmbox on Libri.fm site, and Rhythmbox also says that Libri.fm is fully supported, but it doesn't appear to be. Another tool that's cool is radio. Now what you're seeing here is radio stations that are put in by default. Now you can add some, and if you do, you just need the URL of the radio. So one of my favorites is Michigan Public Radio, so I could add that one in here. I really like the podcasts. So right now I'm on Security Now. Notice that the latest podcast has been downloaded. And let's see if I can move that over. Can I move that? No, I guess not. That's a bummer. I'd like to move this over. I'll figure it out, and if I do, I'll let you know. Or, if you figure it out before me, throw it in the comments. But anyway, so we've got this podcast, and if I want to, remember that this particular window here is my audio player. So I could do a couple of different things. I could create a new folder and put in podcasts. That way, if I want to clean them out, I know exactly where they are. Doesn't matter if the music's in a folder or not. It's going to be played no matter what. And I can grab this podcast and just drag it over and do copy here. And now I can hear that on my MP3 player, my portable that I take with me whenever I go anywhere. So the one thing I'm not sure of, actually I'm kind of sure, so let's have a look at this. Let's go into properties. It's kind of nice because it does have some information. It's got which episode it is, when it was released, and information about that particular episode. But I also like that if you go into details, you can find out where it's living. So my thoughts are, will these automatically delete? Not too difficult to find. You might see a whole bunch of stuff in there, but I believe if you delete this without deleting it from here, let's just try one. Is this the newest one or the oldest one? That's the newest one. We're going to delete this one. Delete. Delete episode and file. Delete episode only. So it also deleted the episode, so I can't see it here anymore, but It definitely deletes it from your music. So let's just experiment here. We've got SN758. Let's go to the music folder. And so we can see a couple of different things here. There's security now. I like that it puts them in individual folders. Let's just go ahead and delete this. Gone. What do we got? I don't see episode 758. So if you delete the file, you actually delete the option to download it. Although I would think, how can we refresh that? Let's see. New podcast feed, update all feeds, update podcast feed. Let's do that again. Nope. So it appears, I mean, I'm assuming anyway, once you delete it, is gone. You're not going to be able to get it back. So that's not the greatest, but you can at least get your podcasts over to a player and be able to play them, or play them directly from here, of course. So let's see if I could just play this one. What happens? Okay, so it's going to stream it without downloading it. I kind of like that.
FBI patch Tuesday and that massive security flaw Microsoft did patch.
Working well. Let's go back to music, and I'm going to put in YouTube and see if it lists. No? Seriously? Oh, well, we're looking at artists. Let's do all fields. Okay, so here are some of the music tracks that I have. So let's go ahead and now that one seems kind of dire there. Oh gosh, honestly don't know. Ship Bell, Marxist Arrow. Man, these just sound terrible. All right, break you in. Let's try that one.
In Windows.
Whoops. Double click it if you want it to play. Seems to be playing fine. Now keep in mind also, let me turn this audio down. Remember, if we want to, we can go to Preferences, and we can go to Visible Columns, and we can turn on Quality if you want. If you're curious, what is the quality of the track I'm listening to? I wanted to mention, too, that you can use an iPod. Now, I tried to use my iPhone, but it will not see the music on the iPhone, but it's supposed to be able to use iPods. So anybody out there have an iPod, give it a try. All right, what else do we have? I think that's pretty much everything. We've talked about searches. We've talked about playlists, creating playlists, and being able to play songs. We can just have the whole playlist play. So now that I've selected that, sorry about that. Alarm to take medicine. I hate it, but gotta do it. So I can play different tracks, and I haven't put too many in here yet, but as I'm playing the music, the other thing I'm doing, if I like something, I put it in the new track, which we've talked about before. So there's pros and cons to Rhythmbox, and there are other players, but I just wanted to look more at Rhythmbox and just talk about Rhythmbox and what I think of it. There's many reasons that I like it. It's a good all-around music player. I think if they can get plugins working again, or just plain working, I'd like to be able to play my Libre FM account right here in Rhythmbox and not have to stream it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. If you really liked it, share this video. If you really, really liked it, consider joining me on patreon.com for $1 or more per month, and you can buy me a cup of coffee, which I really like. I always appreciate it, and I'm hoping that these videos help you out, especially if you're a Linux user and you're wondering how things work out. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Fast Gadgets. This video was made possible with support from viewers like you. If you find this video useful, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/fastgadgets.